5 Minute Crochet Podcast. I'm Ellen Gormley, but today it's not 5 minutes. I think we get an hour together before my first client shows at 11. So I thought we'd hang out a little bit. And so I am doing Casual Friday today. So I hope you don't mind. I have a bunch of crochet in my lap and next to me and trying to decide how I should spend this time. Good morning, Brian. Welcome. So, also on the community tab, I posted a poll maybe half an hour ago or so saying, like, what should I do next? Should I finish the baby book? Should I finish the greenery blanket? Like, are you anxious for another um, journal pattern/journal book like this one where you have the pattern at the beginning and then a journal for the balance? Or are you more interested in just more of the journals, which I don't have the greenery blanket one, but the journals that you just have you just want a different cover for some different journals? So anyway, if you get a chance, please go to the community tab and vote. So I just have so much I want to do that it's hard to like nail myself down to just one task and get it done. So this morning, I've been working on the greenery blanket and adding some more rounds to it. Although I might have to put this aside now that we are here because I don't think I'm on the round where you count. So I don't think I can count and speak at the same time. So I might have to put this one aside. Hi, Linda. Thank you. Thumbs up for sure. I do appreciate it. Oh, look at this. A 3 to 3. 3 people here, 3 thumbs up. Thank you so much, friends. Okay, so I'm going to put this one aside for now. It is growing super fast. Well, not super fast, but it's growing. It's happening, and we're making it happen. And I'm getting to the point where every time I choose a color from my scraps, I need to make sure that I have enough of it to get all the way through the round. So we are going through the scraps, and that's really wonderful. So that's making progress. So I thought today I could stitch on this. I do have Hobie on my lap though, and I have a feeling he's not going to want to he doesn't like to be touched when he is sleeping, and having the yarn touch him is not going to, and there goes my tripod. My tripod is not going to be happy about this angle. Let's see what I can do. Hobie does not like to be touched while he's sleeping, and I have yarn on my lap here. And so the yarn, unless I do it just so, it's going to touch him, and he's not going to see. Yep, he's already gone. He's already gone. I knew he wouldn't like the movement. He gets annoyed with me moving too much or touching him while he's sleeping. So I thought I would work on the Tunisian colorful columns. I'm going to make this into a cowl. And so I have it's about 10 inches, the length of my Tunisian hook. It's a 7mm hook. And I am just going to make this background, and it is still a little rhombusy, a little bit slanted, a little bit to the right, but I'm hoping that when I put in the columns of color, just like when I did in the video, that it'll help square it up. So right now I'm just doing the kind of rhythmic and comforting and not boring. I wouldn't say boring, but comforting and regular routine stitching for this pattern so that I can do the accent color later. So what all are you working on? Hey, BJ, good morning. Are you all bringing some crochet to our hour today? And what are you working on? I'm desperately interested to know what you're doing, and I'm going to go ahead and just crochet while we talk and make some progress on my rhythmic and kind of mindless project here. So I hope that you all join me in crocheting today because it's a valuable and relaxing use of our time, and it's such a treat to be able to have some time to crochet in the morning before I work. So I only have a handful of clients today, so a little bit fewer than usual. It's Friday, and so yeah, a baby blanket. You have a new Congratulations, BJ. That is wonderful. Has the new baby arrived? What's the name? And what are you doing with the blanket? What color are you using? What pattern? I want to know it all. I want to know all the details about the new grandbaby. Wonderful. What's everyone else doing this morning while you are watching along? So some of you might be crocheting, some of you might be um, doing other things, maybe doing chores around the house, maybe working. So you don't have to be crocheting to join us here at the 5 Minute Crochet Podcast that's actually an hour. So welcome. I put up a poll for those of you who are just joining me. Okay, lost a couple of you, so you probably had to go and move into other tasks for today. Totally get it. I did put up a poll this morning on the community tab asking you like what you think the priority is. And I didn't give you an option because they only allowed me so many options, and I should have made the last option something else. Tell me below, but I didn't. So you can always comment and say, none of the above. I want you to do XYZ. And I'll be like, oh, thanks for your vote. Okay, excuse me. So as it gets to be Friday, and I've been talking all week, my voice starts to get a little scratchy by the end of the week, but it's okay. I am glad to be here. Okay, good morning. Yes, nice to see you. Alas, briefly. Also working on your friend's birthday gift. Okay. Oh my goodness. So yeah, you saw Hobie for just a split second there before he got annoyed with me touching him while he was trying to sleep and he jumped down. So it is what it is. He's a funny one. So he doesn't really ask for petting much. Sometimes he does, but he's more of a play and sleep and eat kind of dog. He does want to cuddle next to you, but he doesn't want to be touched or jostled. He's like, I'm trying to sleep, leave me alone. Okay. Oh, I missed your comment because I was looking at my crochet. Sorry. Daisy and you are having a late breakfast, but then you'll have a chair time with crochet, working on a thin Tunisian scarf as a crochet along. Okay, wonderful. I'm going to take a drink of water, so hopefully that's not too ASMR-y irritating. Sorry about that. So, okay. You love the Afghan on my lap. Thank you. I love it too. It's just a really basic broomstick pattern that my mom made for me back when I was about 13 or 14, back when I was in those in the stage of bright colors. And this is actually, it's hard to tell, but this is actually a pink here. So it's dark blue, medium teal blue, and then a light pink, and then 3 white. So I got to pick out the colors, which was fun, and then mom made the blanket for me, and I wear it on my lap every day. So it's about 10 to 15 years. Yeah, yep, because I'm only 25 or 28 or whatever. Yeah, at this point. Um, so I really have changed my mind about lap blankets over the years, I guess as I get older. Um, well, that's not exactly true. I do love a good lap blanket, and I have it down all the way to my feet, and it's really not that cold in here, but it's just a comforting thing that I wear almost every day. Of course, I won't wear it during the summer, but it's just nice to have it on my lap while I am working and taking care of clients. But I was saying as I get older that I like a good lap blanket, but I realized as I was saying that when I was a teenager and I was driving myself as, a 16, 17-year-old, and I was driving myself back and forth to high school every day, that I used to have you all heard this story already, that I had a 74 Duster, Plymouth Duster. Was it Chrysler or Plymouth? I don't remember. Brian, you might know. Like a 74 Duster. And it had a faux snakeskin roof, but it also had a hole in somewhere in the engine. Your lap blanket is more of a torso blanket. Your legs still overheat, but your upper body gets cold. Gotcha. 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 It had a faux snakeskin roof. Plymouth, maybe? Yeah, Plymouth Duster? I think so. A Plymouth. Thank you, Linda. It had a faux snakeskin roof, which was so funny, and it was a butterscotch color. It also had a hole somewhere in it so that as I was driving, if it was raining, like it would leak directly onto my driving right foot, my gas pedal foot, and it would drip water right on my foot as I pressed on the gas. Anyway, I would have to wear. I often wore a skirt to school for the dress code, and I would have a orange, brown, yellow chevron blanket that my mom had made me when I was a girl. Oh, I have to find a picture. I don't think I do. I'll have to look. Um, but I used to wear that blanket on my lap while I was driving. That was my driving blanket to to cover, my lap and my legs if I wore a skirt to school in the winter to keep my legs warm because it didn't have the best heater in it, and so so yeah. So I love a good blanket in the car. Whether I'm driving and need just a little bit of cover or a passenger and need to curl up. But, you know, these days the car is so warm and, the seats heat up and stuff. So I don't even really need a blanket anymore. But I do try to keep a blanket in the car for emergencies. Um, so anyway, a little car blanket, a little lap blanket is good. So this is the back side of my work. And here is the front side that I'm looking at. I love, love, love the preciseness of even stitching. So it's not perfect, but it's pretty nice, pretty uniform. I'll keep right on going. So do you keep blankets in the car? Do you wear blankets on your lap? Do you have a blanket at work? I used to have the tipsy blanket that is behind me on the shelf, the peach, white, and gray one you guys have probably seen before. That one used to be at my office back when I had an office until I became 100% remote, and I gave up my office to someone else who was going to be in person. Keep the blankets in the Jeep, one for Laurie and one for Aaron. Oh, that's nice. Good, good, good. Um, so does the Jeep get cold? I've always wanted a Jeep. Is the Jeep colder than a typical car? Is it a convertible or a hardtop convertible, or is it just more chilly than an average car, or would you have blankets in the car no matter what? For you when you're running with the top off. Very good. Okay, that makes sense. Which reminds me of a story. This is hilarious. So when I was, let's see. I guess I was probably again about 14. I guess pivotal times 13, 14. Um, my dad was married to his second wife, and she had kids, a son who was a year younger than my older brother, and then a daughter who was maybe 2 years younger than me. And my dad had a 70 something Buick convertible, big car. I don't know the model of the car, but it was a big car and it was a convertible. But it was a sedan, so just two doors, but it had a back seat. Anyway, when I was 13 or 14, we all of us, no, 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 Ken didn't come. I don't know. It was so crowded in the back seat of that car, and it feels like there were like four people back there, but I don't think my brother came. So I think it was my dad and his wife in the front seat, and then it was me and my younger stepsister, and there had to be a couple other people because it was so crowded in the back seat. And we drove to Hershey, Pennsylvania from Dayton, Ohio. So I don't know how many hours that is. Six, maybe 6 or 7, something like that. And we were going to visit friends of my dad's wife, and we were going to go to the Hershey Park while we were there. Anyway, my dad's car, the Buick, whatever, Centurion, maybe something really, really big, had a cloth or vinyl or whatever that is convertible top. So a fabric style convertible top. And it had a big rip in it, the convertible top. Like, I'm talking like a big rip, like 14 inches long, like a big rip in the middle of the convertible top. And of course, it rained I don't know if it rained the whole way to Hershey, Pennsylvania, or if it just rained part of the time, but I remember it being dark and it was raining and we were crowded in the back seat of the car. So I don't know if this was on the way home, but I'm pretty sure it was on the way there. And it was miserable. It was absolutely miserable. And I remember getting to her friend's house. You had a Jeep. It was broken all the time. You couldn't take one as a gift. That is funny because Brian is about to comment, aren't you, Brian? I know you are. About your Jeep. But the trip was miserable. And when we arrived at my stepmother's friend's house, we were just like done. We were so over it. It's like we were over it before the trip even began. We were like, oh, this is terrible. And I remember getting to her house and like I was starving and they like, I don't know if they weren't expecting us or we were too late or they ordered food and like there wasn't enough food for everybody. And I was like, and we slept on the floor that night at her house. And so I'm like, oh, this is just miserable. So even at like 13 and 14, I was like, okay, this is not an adventure. This is annoying. So maybe I was not as go with the flow. But it was just not a fun trip. The best thing about the trip was going through the Hershey Park, and I still remember seeing the factory tour and how they like would spin the M&Ms in these big like color buckets because M&Ms always were and probably always will be one of my top 3 favorite candies of all time. So, anyway, so how did we get to that? So I was talking about I wish I had had a blanket. Yes, M&M's rule, absolutely. Um, I was talking about like having a blanket in the car. I wish I had had a blanket in the car for that trip to Hershey, Pennsylvania in the convertible with the big rip in it. And Reese cups, well, that goes without saying. Although as much as I love Reese cups, which I do and the family does, I would not put that in my top 3. So, I mean, there's a lot of other things I would choose first. Is that blasphemy? I do love chocolate and peanut butter together. The ultimate chocolate and peanut butter is the Buckeye candy that we make here every Christmas, and it's more of a dark chocolate, and the peanut butter has more sugar in it. I like that better. Oh, yes. Yeah, yep. You see, you read my mind. I think they did make the dark chocolate Reese's for a while. I think they made the thin ones, the really thin ones that are like half as tall as the regular Reese cups, and I think they make those in dark. So yeah, I would definitely pick that over a traditional Reese cup. Me too, Linda. Dark chocolate is the best. It's my favorite. It's my favorite for sure. Um, so I'll have to, I've been doing pretty well staying away from it lately, but it's hard. It is hard. Definitely when I go to a pharmacy store like Walgreens or CVS or something like that, it is really hard to not pick up some dark chocolate especially the Milky Way Midnights. So guaranteed, whenever I go to Walgreens, pharmacy store, it is good for your heart. Go crochet field trip, retreat to Hershey. Well, as much as I would like to do that, in some ways, I am traumatized by Hershey, Pennsylvania and the factory and don't really want to go back. But you know where we can go? Um, I Tom and I went to I guess it was in San Francisco. We went to like Carmel, Indiana. Been there too, but Carmel, California, and we went up and down the coast. This was like right before my mom, or right. Oh, it was right after my mom died, like 2 weeks after my mom died. We had this trip planned, but we went to California, and we went to the Ghirardelli um, store, Ghirardelli factory. Um, we went to Ghirardelli, and that was amazing. And I definitely would go back there. Okay, let me take another drink of water here. Sorry. I do remember getting a milkshake at the Hershey factory park. I'd rather have a milkshake than a bowl of ice cream in general. And so I remember getting a chocolate milkshake at Hershey. And as much as I am an absolute chocolate fiend, believe it or not, that was too rich for me. Couldn't believe it. Same on the shake. Yeah. Do you do a chocolate shake, Brian, or are you more of a vanilla or strawberry or something else? And do you put stuff in it like a blizzard, like pieces of candy or cookie or something, or do you like the texture like plain? um, but let's make a field trip to Ghirardelli in California. Nothing wrong with Hershey, Pennsylvania. It was a lot of fun as a place. It was not fun as a family, but that's not Hershey, Pennsylvania's fault. I do remember like pulling into the town of Hershey, Pennsylvania, and chocolate, but some Sonic down here makes a great peanut butter fudge shake. Ooh. Okay, I don't think I've ever had Sonic. We don't have those real nearby my neighborhood. I know that they are in Ohio somewhere, but I don't think I've ever had one. I do remember pulling into the town of Hershey, Pennsylvania, and smelling the chocolate. And also, I think I remember street lights shaped as Hershey Kisses. Is that right, people? Um, so absolutely, Hershey, Pennsylvania is a delightful place. Um, you know, but I don't think I want to go back for other reasons. But that's okay. That's okay. But there's lots. I like to go new places as much as possible because life is short and I want to see it all. And so even though I have a couple favorite places, um, I always like to go new places so that I have more on my list. And I am thrilled that my kids have been able to travel way more than I was able to travel as a kid. I think it's a really wonderful gift and education, and I'm so honored and blessed to help our kids travel, and that is really awesome. And I've gotten to go some really awesome places too, since we have been adults. Come to Wisconsin and get some frozen yogurt. Nice, BJ. I'd like that. So I really haven't traveled until, gosh, 2016 or so was when we really started traveling, when the kids were old enough to go with us. And I have to say that I'm, really grateful that my husband has worked hard and had a great job all these years, and has been able to provide that for us. Although the trip to Ireland, which kicked it all off in 2016, was because of my job um, at Crochet Magazine. So, but I'm really grateful that we've had those opportunities. Now, Wisconsin, I've been to only once for not even a day. So, me and the kids, this is a little secret, don't tell. Ireland, yeah, that was 2016. Yep, it was that long ago already. Patrick was like 11 or something. um, maybe older than that. I don't know, something like that. He was little. Um, okay, what was I saying? I was saying we were talking about Ireland and I was talking about the business. Oh, shoot, I lost my train of thought there. Traveling. Oh, Wisconsin. So we went to Wisconsin about it for about a day. So what happened was, and don't tell, but we had concert tickets to go see BTS, and they went to Chicago. And they only BTS is the K-pop group that we love, and they only would do like three cities when they came to the United States, and they would go to Newark, New Jersey, Chicago, and someplace in California, probably LA. Anyway, we got concert tickets to Chicago, me and Patrick and Mara, and it was on a weeknight and during the school year. So we planned and Mara was she a senior? She must have been a junior or senior in high school. And Patrick I think she was a senior in high school and Patrick was a sophomore, and I was working at the high school at Patrick's high school at that point. And so we planned a trip to the University of Wisconsin since we were already driving up to Chicago so that Mara could see the University of Wisconsin and their language program there. And since Patrick was in high school too, we combined it and made it a college visit. But it was 100% to go see BTS, but it was my excuse to get them out of school so that we could go to this concert. So we drove up to Chicago. We saw the concert. We spent the night in Chicago. We woke up the next morning. We drove to Madison, Wisconsin, to see the University of Wisconsin at Madison, and took a tour. You went for a ride on the old steam engine in Wisconsin. Okay, I did not. I don't know anything about Wisconsin except uh, cheese. I like cheese. Um, and so we did a college tour at the University of Wisconsin quickly the next day so that we could justify the trip to Chicago. Now, why did we not tour a university in Chicago? Mostly University of Wisconsin has an amazing language program, and Mara's into languages. And my husband Tom was like, "Oh, you'll already be up there. Go ahead and go to Wisconsin." I had no idea that the trip from Chicago to Madison would be like 6 more hours or something really long. I was like, "Oh, we were really regretting it." We're like, "This is too far." And like, went to this concert the night before. If it would been like an hour or two from Chicago to Madison, maybe that wouldn't have been so bad, but it seemed like it was just so far from Chicago that I was just like, "Oh, okay, we are over this." Needless to say, we were tired, and Mara didn't love the fit at University of Wisconsin, although I know lots other people who've gone there and really super loved it, but it wasn't the right fit for her, and then we had to drive all the way home from Madison, Wisconsin. And of course, that trip was super long, way more than Chicago. I think Chicago from Cincinnati is like maybe 4 hours, maybe five. I don't know. I don't remember. But anyway, that was the trip to Madison, Wisconsin via Chicago, so that we could go see BTS. And the whole point of the trip was to see BTS, but we made it into a college visit to justify it. And I don't regret it. I do not regret it at all. Wisconsin has the cutest little towns. No, like literally, I've been to Madison, Wisconsin for like 4 hours, and that's it. We drove around and left, and came home the same day. So no, I've not. I don't know anything about Wisconsin, except for that, and it was incredibly hard to find a parking space at Madison, Wisconsin at the university. So that was stressful, but but it's okay. So I'm sure Wisconsin has a lot to offer that I've missed. But that was my one and only foray into Wisconsin. Okay. So That would have been during like April or May or something like that. So I didn't need a car blanket. And now my car seats like warm up, or at least the front seats do, which are really awesome. And so don't really need a blanket for those. All right. How's your crocheting come along? Anybody crocheting? This is starting to really grow. So here's the backside. There is a shrine up there that's on your bucket list. Okay. Okay, so this is starting to grow, and here's the front side. So this is probably 10 or 11 inches now, so it's happening. It's happening. Keep right on crocheting. Door County is that thumb up that sticks out. Okay. Okay. Door County. I'll have to research that. Are you from Wisconsin? Do we have anybody here watching and crocheting along today who's from Wisconsin? What states are you all from, by the way? I probably know, but I don't remember what states you all are from. I assume we have people from the United States here today because it is 10 in the morning in the eastern United States. So 6 hours ahead or so, 6 and 7 hours ahead for Europe would be what, 4 o'clock in the afternoon? So maybe still part of the workday. And Australia, I think, is like 15 hours ahead. It's definitely in the middle of the night there in Australia. So hopefully you all are sleeping and you can catch this on the replay. But if you're catching this on the replay, Alabama now, grew up in South Carolina. Um, yes, I have been to Alabama, and yes, I've been to South Carolina. So, hello to my friends from Australia if you are watching this on the replay. You're Chicago born and raised, but moved to Southwest suburbs in '94 from Iowa, here in Wisconsin via California, then Kentucky. Okay, BJ, you've lived around. So, all right. Well, I grew up in Ohio. I'm still in Ohio. I went a whole hour away. So, I grew up in Dayton, and now I am west of Cincinnati. So, not far. But I've been to Alabama, really enjoyed Perdido Key, Pennsylvania, and Gulf Shores, Alabama area a couple years ago. Really enjoyed the that little strip of Gulf. Good morning from New York. Hi, Janet. Good morning. What part of New York are you in, Janet? So one of my BFFs, Haley, lives in Saratoga Springs. So I was there for the Adirondack Wool Festival. And there's a little video of the Adirondack Festival recap on on the YouTube channel. I think it's on the playlist Just for Fun, maybe. So the Just for Fun playlist, I try not to do things that are not like strictly teaching crochet, but there's a couple videos there of me cooking or failing at cooking. Lower New York, Westchester County, just north of New York City. Okay, cool, Janet. Very cool. I have been in New York City once or twice. I got to see Les Mis on Broadway. That was a super highlight for us. Loved it. Loved it. And yeah. So I think we went up in the Empire Strikes Back. The Empire State Building. You're at home in Washington State. Okay, nice, nice. Have I ever been to Washington State? No, I don't think I've ever been to Washington State. Tom has been there a few times because he likes to hike. And so he's been to all those mountainous places in the country. Your cousin and fellow breast cancer survivor lives in Alabama. You are each other's prayer warriors. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Congratulations on being a survivor. Absolutely. So that is a blessing, and keep you in our prayers, keep you healthy. So yeah, absolutely. Good. I've never been to Washington. Tom likes to hike, so he goes all the mountainous places in the United States. I don't know where he's going next. but I'm sure he's got some more on his bucket list. So he's been to Rainier, and he's been to the Rocky Mountains, and he's been in the Smoky Mountains, and been in the on the Appalachian Trail, not the whole part of it, but I think um, I'm not sure which parts. I want to say North Carolina parts of it. You found a few Tunisian needle sets on Amazon. Is one better than the other? I don't know which ones you have found. Your daughter lives in Brisbane, Australia, and you're correct. It's 1:30 in the morning there. Okay, thank you. So I don't know if one set of Tunisian hooks are better than the other. I like the straights more than I like the cables in general. And I like the inline. I like the metal aluminum more than the wood or bamboo. And but really go with your preference and go with price, because they don't have to be super high um, durability unless you're doing a ton of Tunisian crochet. So I don't do a ton of Tunisian crochet, but during the pandemic, the town had started installing traffic roundabouts. You've never heard of the names? Yes, straights. Yeah. Okay. Um, Roundabouts. I'm not, those are popping up more and more common here than there had been before. And I don't know, like, I guess it's just to keep traffic moving, which is good unless you need to cross the street. Unless you're on foot and need to cross the street. So when we were in Ireland, again, 2016 or so, a long time ago, I went out for a jog, and I got to a roundabout, and I totally freaked out because, not freaked out, I didn't freak out. You're not fond of roundabouts. Yeah, me neither. And I was trying to cross the street for some reason. And of course, I believe the traffic was going opposite the direction that I'm used to. And then it was also a roundabout. And for some reason, I needed to cross the road. And I was just like, it was really scary. They've just started putting them in. You like the straight Tunisian and knitting needles too, perhaps because that's how you learned. Yeah, I can see that. And I think they're less heavy than the cables. But obviously, if you are doing a much wider work, you need the cables. Or if you're working in the round with knitting, of course, you need um, either like double points, a handful of double points, or you need circulars. Okay. So anyway, I'm not super fond of roundabouts, but I'm getting used to them. We have a little one in our town, which is fine because it's not super busy. Ordering today. Can't wait. Yay, BJ. That'll be so much fun. So our one little roundabout is not too bad because there's not a lot of traffic with it. So I'm not usually there when there's a lot of traffic, and even in our town, even when there is a lot of traffic, the roundabout is not super busy. And so if you just go slow, and it's just one lane, our roundabout is just one lane. Like the ones in Paris are like massive. I think they were like 4 lanes around, and that's a lot, a lot more scary. But I know other towns like have a lot of roundabouts, and I seem to remember like maybe Hilton Head had a lot of roundabouts, but anyway, I guess they are popping up as being better for traffic flow, and then they don't have to put in lights, so that's cheaper. And I don't know if that's fewer accidents or not. Obviously, that's good. You use both straights and cables. You have a Denise plastic. Okay. Denise plastic cable Tunisian set is my preferred Tunisian cable set. I have tried other Tunisian cable sets and interchangeable cables, and the wood ones I just don't love. They're just too, the head on them are just too bulky. These were aluminum. Okay, good. That I just find the wood ones, the tip of the hook is just too bulky for me. I like a more inline hook and I don't want to break it. And so, like, obviously, the thinner you make wood, the more fragile it is. Um, has anyone ever broken a hook or needle while you were working? So I think it's only happened to me once, but I know that other crocheters and knitters have actually like snapped hooks and needles while they were working. And I think it's only happened to me once, and I'm sure it was a wood. Um, so tension. No, thank goodness. Yeah, no, thank God. So the yeah, you don't want to break a cable one right in the middle and like have to like go and hurry up and slide those stitches onto the new hook or cable or whatever or lifeline until you can fix it and get it all situated. You've broken guitar strings while working. Yeah, I believe it. You were really jamming hard. I guess they get worn out over time too. So, yeah. Let's see. I have had Tunisian interchangeable or Tunisian cable hooks untwist from the cable while I was working. So it's good to just occasionally like double check and make sure that it's all connected tightly, especially if you do a lot of twisting like I do while I'm working. If you twist your hand and you're twisting the cable and it can come loose. So check your connections every so often so that that doesn't come undone and then you like, I don't want you to lose any stitches. So let's see. I also have had some hooks that have the rubber grip, never the Etimo tulip hooks, never these, but other hooks I've had like the rubber part like slide off or slide up and down on the hook. But I'm trying to remember what brand that was that happened, but never with this brand. I love this brand. So I guess instead of a garment malfunction, it would be a hook malfunction if it breaks or the handle slides off, and not the ones. I guess they were Susan Bates, the aluminum hook that had the wood handles on top. Those don't slip either. I'm trying to think of which ones were slidey slippy. Yeah, I can't remember. But if you're like pulling hard on it, you can feel like the grip pulling away from the hook. And you have to slide it back on. So a little bit of hook malfunction sometimes, but very rarely. More often, I have yarn malfunctions where you run across a knot in the yarn. I was worried a little bit about the trifle blanket, the colorful baby blanket with the chevron, the easy beginner chevron, that I think it was maybe the first or second color, like way in the beginning of the blanket, there was a flaw in the yarn and I had to like cut it out. And then because I was using up the entire ball on every color, you snapped a size one plastic straight accidentally. Note to self, if I were to replace your straights, you'd get them made of metal instead. And because I was using up the entire color for each row or set of rows, like I didn't want to lose any yardage because I wanted all of the colors to be the same number of rows. Although, so I was a little worried. I'm like, uh-oh, if there's a flaw in the first ball, I hope there's not a flaw in every ball. And there were maybe flaws in maybe 4 out of the 18 balls. So that's not too bad. Although I found that the balls of yarn, the different colors, had slightly different yardage. So with or without flaws, some of the yarn color stripes could only be 8 rows instead of 9 because I didn't have enough yarn, even without a flaw. So that kind of was annoying that I couldn't make each section of color equal of 9. It was 9 rows of each color because some of the balls were short on yardage, and so I could only get 8 rows out of them. But I think overall it was a small enough deviation that it wasn't too noticeable in the finished product. And it wasn't critical in terms of like it wasn't a sweater or something where I needed to make it exactly, the same as the back or something like that. It was okay that there are some variable in the different colors. Okay. So I don't know how long I'm going to make this scarf, but it's going to be a Tunisian. You love these sessions. Thank you, BJ. I love it too. I love it too, for sure. I don't, but it is going to be a cowl, and I'm planning to pretty much use up the entire ball of what I have here. And even if it's a cowl that has to like figure 8 drape around my neck twice, I think that's actually what I want. What am I making? Hi. Yes, I'm making a cowl. So this is from the Tunisian video, the colorful crochet, Tunisian columns of color. That's, I think, what I called it. And this video went up 2 days ago on Wednesday, and I just loved it so much. I thought, oh, I'm going to make one for myself. So I am making a cowl out of the Tunisian columns of color pattern that is free on the channel that went up on Wednesday. And there is a right and left-handed version. So then after I make the body of the cowl and sew it together, then I will put in the columns of color with the surface slip stitch in the contrasting multicolored yarn. And I'm not sure, I forget, does somebody know from the last 2 days of 5 Minute Crochet Podcast how many stitches I did? I said it out loud, but now I forget. So I guess I could just count them. It is all I know is that it is an odd number of stitches that are necessary for this pattern. I know in the video for the swatch, it was 19 stitches. Do I crochet with both hands? I can single crochet only with my left hand. And so when I make right-handed and left-handed versions of the videos, I just flip them in my editing tool so that the left-handed people can see it from their perspective. But it's the same instruction. It's just so that you can see it, because I just don't think it's fair to ask you to flip it in your head. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 29. Okay, so 29 is my answer. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's nice. A lot of YouTubers will crochet reverse the track in editing for left hand. That's exactly what I do. Yes. I can crochet left-handed, but only in single crochet. And I feel like that comes in super handy. I practiced that on purpose so that I could do tapestry crochet, because I think tapestry crochet looks better right side only. And so without turning. And I didn't want to like do it in the round and then steek it or cut it and then crochet in the round and then make it flat by cutting it and flattening it. So I taught myself to crochet single crochet with my left hand so that I could crochet, 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 single crochet, and then left-handed I could single crochet back without turning. Yeah. So, but that's the only thing I can do. And I have not done that in quite some time. So I have not practiced that recently. And so I would have to swatch and practice again before I made a finished. My alarm. So sorry about the little gap, that little delay there. That's my alarm that tells me that if I had a client with me, I'd say, oh, that's the alarm that tells us to wrap up and check the calendar. So for me and you all at this video, that tells us that we are coming near the time of our ending of our time together so that I can go to work for the day. So, but I've got good clients today. I'm excited about seeing them and seeing how they're doing, seeing how I can be of assistance. But I love to crochet. I could crochet all day, every day, and not get tired of it. Yeah. Well, we're at 49 minutes. Can you believe that? Thank you so much for hanging in there with me. And I'm super excited that I've gotten some good work done, made some progress. I do work from home. I work 100% from home, and I love it in terms of one, my safety, um, but two, in terms of like now, even with COVID or if clients are sick or whatever, I can still see them and not worry about getting sick. Um, if people are too depressed to get out of bed, they can tune in to our sessions from their bed. If people have anxiety about driving or phobias about driving, they don't have to worry about driving to our appointments. And we can work on getting them to a point where they can drive safely without anxiety. But if they're not there yet, I don't want them worried about driving to see me until we get there. And a lot of people are just super busy and don't have time for appointments in the middle of the day. And I don't want to do too many evening hours. So if people can leave their work for their lunch hour and can sit in their car or go to a conference room or go to a private space and do a session from wherever they are, that saves time and they don't have to take extra time off of work to leave work to come and see me. So I find that working remote is super helpful and helps people miss fewer appointments. So that is always good. And I love being here with my pets, and um, I can switch out my laundry in between hours and take the dog out and go check the mail in between hours and get myself a decent lunch. How come the government doesn't do that with Social Security appointments? They want you to drive hundreds of miles to appointments. I have no idea. I have no idea. Good morning. You tried my email through Instagram, it bounced back. You tried a DM. Okay, so here's the most reliable email for me. Ellen, Ellen, dot go crochet at gmail.com. So go crochet is GOCROCHET at gmail.com. Ellen.gocrochet at gmail.com. That's how you get a hold of me if you need to email me. Also, if it's not, I'm pretty good about watching the comments on these videos. I sometimes I get tired and I fall behind and then I don't reply for a couple of days, but I do try really hard to read and reply to every comment in some way, even if it's just a thumbs up or a heart. Do I do private crochet lessons? I do not. I just don't have time. So, um, I used to travel to conferences to teach here and there, not a whole lot, but teaching in person. But no, I don't really, because I try so hard to get all my crocheting on video onto YouTube so that we can get more people all over the world. So if people need to learn from the very beginning to crochet, I have a micro lessons playlist on my channel. Everything from how to hold the hook, how to hold the yarn, how to do a chain, all of that is on my channel under the micro crochets playlist. If there's any lessons that you need that you can't find, please leave me a message. Travel conferences were popular. They absolutely were. So from like 2005, and then pretty much stopped doing that around 2016, something like that. They were super popular. Like I went to two or three a year, um, and taught or attended. Crafting conferences were very popular, but you never figured them out. Well, they can be really a lot of fun, and it's good to meet people who enjoy the same things as you do. It does take a little bit of extroversion to be able to like sit down next to some stranger in the hotel lobby who's crocheting and say, "Oh, what are you making?" But at least it's a good conversation starter. And in general, crocheters are a pretty happy bunch to talk about their work. So, yeah, people, I met lots of friends online and then got to meet them for the first time at the crochet convention, either the Crochet Guild of America Chain Link Convention, or I would go, of course, to the National Needle Arts Association, but that was for professionals. And like we would meet the yarn companies and the publishers and stuff. You've never lived someplace where the conference, yeah, yeah, I'd have to travel mostly to Columbus, Ohio, which is 2 hours away, or the Crochet Guild of America conference used to move. So I had been to Manchester, New Hampshire for that one. I'd been to Minneapolis for that one. I'd been to Reno, Nevada for that one. No, I'm actually not still a member of Crochet Guild of America. I had been for years. I was actually on the education committee a couple times. Well, at least once. Maybe, I don't know, it felt like a long time. In terms of choosing the classes for the convention, I was asked to be on the board, but I just couldn't justify um, the expense of like I just didn't want to do the work all year long and not get paid for it, to be on the board. And then I don't know. There's a lot of politics involved, and I just didn't want to be part of it. I emceed the crochet fashion show at one of the conferences. That was a lot of fun. I can't remember. Maybe Manchester, New Hampshire, maybe Minneapolis. I forget when. And I've taught a couple times at the professional development day or whatever. So anyway, I'd better get going. We're at 56 minutes, which means I need to open my computer and log back on to my work and get ready for my client to appear in about 3 minutes. So I hope you have a valuable and relaxing use of your day. I want to finish this row real quick before I go. So let me try to just do this return pass real quick. Yes, thank you so much. I hope everyone has a great day today. Happy Friday to all of you. I hope you get some great time crocheting. If you missed any of the 5 Minute Crochet podcast this week or any week, they're all on the channel under the live tab. So go back and you can watch past ones if you want to just hear more rambling. So yeah, thank you so much for spending time with me. Thank you so much for all the thumbs up. Thank you so much for keeping me company. And I hope you have a valuable and relaxing use of your day and your weekend. And we'll have to do this again sometime. Now I can't get my tripod back up in the right spot. So we'll have to do this again another time. Have a great day, everyone. And you were crocheting in Afghan in an airport once waiting for a plane, and a gal came up and said, crochet, but didn't speak English, but she knew crochet. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great weekend, and I will see you probably Monday. Okay. Bye.